May 23rd, 1999. I was a young 14-year-old punk kid at the time who thought he knew everything. I was also at the time a huge fan of professional wrestling. Now, if you were not alive during that time period, there is just no way for me to explain to you how heated the wrestling business was back then. This was during the height of the Monday Night Wars. WCW, the WWF, they were in a battle for wrestling supremacy, fighting to put their rival out of business. May 23rd, 1999. That is a day that will never be forgotten. The WWF was holding a pay-per-view titled Over the Edge at the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri. Main event of the show was The Undertaker versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, two legends in the wrestling business. There were 7 matches on the card that night. No one remembers them. The only thing people remember was the match that never took place. Owen Hart was on the card that night, scheduled to wrestle for one of their secondary titles. He was performing a gimmick at the time known as the Blue Blazer, where he was kind of like this spoof of a superhero character. It's one of those weird gimmicks that you only see in the world of professional wrestling. As an adult, you think it's ridiculous. As a teenager, hell, I thought it was ridiculous. But on this night, in May of 1999, Owen Hart planned to make a spectacular entrance to the ring by rappelling down from the rafters of the arena. Now, this stunt had been pulled off successfully many times in the past. But on this particular night, the nightmare scenario of all nightmare scenarios took place. The harness was either defective or Owen Hart accidentally pulled the quick release too early. Whatever the case may be, with 430,000 people watching on pay-per-view and in front of a sold-out arena, Owen Hart fell 80 feet into the ring. He never regained consciousness. Now, the broadcast was delayed for what seemed like hours as paramedics tried to revive Owen Hart. He later died at the hospital. Vince McMahon, owner of the WWF, he was faced with a tough decision. Do I cancel the rest of the show, refunding all of the money at the gate and on pay-per-view, or do I force my distraught group of wrestlers to push through this and move on? Vince McMahon made the controversial decision that the show must go on. Was it the right decision? I'll let you decide. Would that same decision be made today? Absolutely not. Roger Goodell, he was faced with that same decision last night. During the first quarter of Monday Night Football, and perhaps the biggest Monday night game of the season, Bills safety Damar Hamlin made a routine tackle on T. Higgins. I'm sure all of you guys have seen the video at this point. I'm not going to replay it for you. Now, he stood up from the tackle, collapsed right back to the ground. We have now learned that he had a heart attack. In my opinion, Roger Goodell made the right decision last night by postponing the game. Players on both teams were in no condition to play. The last thing you want in a dangerous league like the NFL is 22 players unfocused, beating the hell out of each other. I think both coaching staffs recognized early on their players in no condition to perform. If the league hadn't agreed to postpone the game, I don't think it would have been played anyway. I don't think the players would have agreed to play, which is absolutely the right decision. Now, I remained silent on Twitter last night as I watched numerous members of the media make complete fools of themselves. We live in a society that is quick to overreact based solely on emotion. Obviously, everyone's thoughts and prayers are with the health of this young man. His health is the #1 priority. That should go without saying. But at the end of the day, and as callous as this may sound to emotional dudes, the NFL is a business. It is not Roger Goodell's job to make decisions while also considering emotion, people's feelings. It is his job to make the right decision for the betterment of all teams and players in the league. Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless, in his own weird way, was trying to kind of make this point last night. Now, as you guys know, I am no defender of Skip Bayless, known here on the channel as the lover of Shay Shay, Skippy Baby. But like I always say, this is not an agenda-driven channel. The overreaction to Skip Bayless last night from a group of overly emotional men was absolutely ridiculous. Check it out for yourself. For starters here, Skip Bayless points out that the importance of football all seems so irrelevant right now. But here's the thing. Roger Goodell does not have that luxury. Is his first priority the safety of Damar Hamlin? Absolutely. But at the same time, he also has to consider the rest of the league. This is actually an excellent question by Skip Bayless. We are late in the season. The playoffs start next weekend. That game last night has a monumental impact on playoff seeding. Not a lot of time to reschedule. Are you going to have them play on Wednesday, play again on Sunday, possibly play again the following Saturday? That's 3 games, 10 days. This is not the NBA. That's too many games in that short of a time span. Roger Goodell not only has to consider the health of Damar Hamlin, which is #1 priority at this point, but he has to consider the health of the other 105 players involved in this game. Now, was this a bit insensitive of Skip Bayless? Yes, sure, it was. Was the timing of his tweet poor? Yes. But I guarantee you, this thought was on Roger Goodell's mind last night. People responsible for making tough decisions, they don't get the benefit of sensitivity. To be honest with you, I was disappointed in Kendrick Perkins. I like Kendrick Perkins. This dude is a straight shooter. But just because Skip Bayless is considering the business, asking a question, posing a question, doesn't make him a sick individual. You could name countless other things that make him a sick individual, but this ain't one of them. Now, Kendrick Perkins was not the only one overcome with emotion last night. Captain Emotion himself made an appearance on Twitter too. The same man who once cried at the podium because Tony Romo was getting criticized by the media. That's my quarterback. That's my hero. Check this out from Terrell Owens. According to the Queen Emotional Machine, Skip Bayless should lose his job. Really? Really? He should lose his job over his opinion that you misunderstood? What the hell did Skip Bayless say that was so offensive? Not one time did he say the game was more important than Damar Hamlin's health. Not once. He simply questioned how the NFL is going to pull off rescheduling this game so late in the season, which all seems so irrelevant now. Check this one out from someone who calls themselves Sua. His Twitter handle is I am Susie. Here we have another dude stealing the gimmick from Shay Shay. Another dude who wants to be a woman so badly, he not only displays feminine emotion, he calls himself Susie while doing so. What the hell's going on with these men? Dude, get your emotions in check. I have never in my life seen so many emotional dudes. I could sit here for another hour and show you thousands of examples of grown men, mostly in the media, unable to separate emotion from logic, from reality. Life does not stop when tragedy happens. It might pause, but it doesn't stop. Like I said, the game last night should have been postponed. That was the right decision by the NFL. This kid should receive the best medical treatment. They should spare no expense in making sure he fully recovers. But the reality of the situation is, while doing that, while making sure all of that is taken care of, the NFL moves on. Let me ask you something. And I know this analogy might be a bit far-fetched, but our military takes so much shit from these shitfucks, I figured it was appropriate. Our young men in the military, they see some gruesome stuff. They see things you and I could never imagine. When they witness one of their brothers in uniform fall victim to an explosion, does the war suddenly stop? Are they given the luxury of hitting the pause button so they can properly handle their grief? No, they soldier on. Shannon Sharp refused to soldier on this morning. He was noticeably absent from the set of Undisputedly Woke. Are you fucking kidding me? This is just speculation on my part, but I would guess Shay Shay was still in his feelings over Skippy's tweet last night. He was so overcome with emotion, he just couldn't show up to work. If anyone should have been afraid to show up to work this morning, it should have been Skip Bayless. I don't have much respect for the guy, but I commend him for having the balls to face the music. In the midst of all of this ridiculous backlash, it took a lot of courage for him to show up this morning. You know, there seems to be this need, and it is especially prevalent on social media. There seems to be this need to have someone to blame. These people always have to have a villain. This is why I always say there's no loyalty in the woke movement. If you look at the Twitter thread from Skip Bayless's comment, 100% of the blue check marks are emotionally blasting him, while normal people are actually coming to his defense. They understood what he was trying to say. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if Skip Bayless can survive this. I hope Fox Sports has a backbone and doesn't fire him over this. And you guys know how I feel about Skip Bayless. I am far from being a supporter, but I'm tired of this mob mentality. I'm tired of companies bending their knee to a group of people on social media who don't fucking matter. I know I've been all over the place with this video. This was actually a difficult video to make because you want to be considerate of Damar Hamlin and his family, but at the same time, someone's got to speak out against this bullshit happening to Skip Bayless. Because it's Skip Bayless right now, but it could be me or you next. Society is so quick to cancel. They're quick to judge, slow to forgive, quick to chastise, slow to analyze. These are all signs of a society filled with emotional men. There's an old saying, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. As a society, we are in the final stages of that quote, weak men create hard times. For a group of men to get so upset over what was a clear misunderstanding of what Skip Bayless was trying to say, then you have the bandwagon jumpers who want to be accepted in the club shitfuck, jumping on the shit on Skip Bayless train just so they have their membership confirmed. Most of these blue check marks on Twitter, they don't know shit about fuck. Clearly, they don't know how to read because they did not read the entirety of this tweet. These people live in a false reality. Several years ago, a Walmart trucker fell asleep at the wheel, ended up taking someone's life. It was later discovered he had been awake for a full 24 hours. If I remember correctly, I think the dude actually collided with Tracy Morgan's limo. When that happened, did Walmart pull all of their trucks, all of their drivers off the road? Did Walmart stores nationwide shut down so everyone could properly grieve? No, that's reality. That's not this false utopian world these people want to live in. All of us are thinking about Damar Hamlin. Everyone's praying for him, but at the same time, that does not exempt Roger Goodell from making tough decisions. Life doesn't stop. But maybe I'm in the wrong here. I am interested to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.